Wolf dogs, what are they? They are not hybrids. There are a lot of myths and lies about wolf dogs floating around on YouTube and the general internet. What is a wolf dog? A wolf dog is a being that has 10% or above wolf DNA, usually Northern American gray wolf. They're just larger skeleton size than domestic canines. They have stronger instinct than domestic canines. They have a larger cranium and greater intelligence than domestic canines. Wolf dogs may or may not have the superficial wolf markings. Why are they not hybrids? The modern day wolf and the domestic dog share 99.9% of their DNA. That's because dogs are a subspecies of wolves. A study on DNA found that dogs are more closely related to gray wolves than eastern timber or red wolves. These studies concluded that these three types of wolves are subspecies under Canis lupus, not separate species like originally thought. Differences between wolves and dogs. Nothing superficially other than size, brain, teeth, skeleton, snout, and ears. All those things being larger. And the ears will be stiffer and more round in a wolf. So when you mix a wolf with a dog, what you get is a bigger dog with more pronounced features, but there's still features that dogs can have. It's not a black spot at the end of a tail or webs in between the toes of large paws. Any of those things sled dogs generally have. And I know because I have one. Here's my two dogs. This is Yuna. She is not a wolf dog. And this is Hawk. He is a wolf dog. As you can see, he's mostly Siberian Husky here at 46.8%. But his next biggest contributor is the gray wolf, just under 22%. And then the remainder, German Shepherd dog and Alaskan Malamute. I bought him from a reputable wolf breeder with lineage, and by that I mean his father, mother, and grandparents were there, and a real wolf dog breeder is going to have a wolf on the premises. Now, if we go back and look at Yuna, the gray wolf is the largest of all the wolf species. These are pack animals that are tactical hunters. While they are wild animals, wolves are still able to breed with dogs. Haplogroup is the sex chromosome. Right here is Yuna. She's my sled dog. Husky. Now, what's interesting about her is she has the agouti body pattern, which is the wolf sable, and my wolf dog does not have that. He has the standard coloring of most huskies, but his teeth are huge. His head is huge. His body weight is massive. his instincts and characteristics are much different than a domestic dog. And that is one thing that a lot of people don't mention when they're making videos about their so called wolf dogs. And that is one, if you have a wolf dog and you spent the money on it, you probably spent the small $50 to get the embark test done to see how exactly what percentage you received. Two, wolf dogs are not easy to train. And it's easy to make mistakes because they grow into very incredibly large and strong animals. My wolf dog's about 150 pounds. He's a little chubby right now. He should be about 130. Wolf dogs eat a lot. When they're small, they'll generally bite your hands if you're trying to feed them meat or any kind of treat out of your hands. And they get big fast, which is it's so much different than even your large dog breeds. They take generally a while to reach their mature size. Wolf dogs will get to the mature size very quickly. Okay, dogs have 36 chromosomes. So don't wolves. It's exactly the same. They're not hybrids. And you can see these blue pieces here, blue for gray wolf. You can see this chromosome one has one chunk of gray wolf DNA, but only one parent passed on wolf DNA because the other chromosome doesn't have any. So these where the chromosomes have two, it's not guaranteed, but it's likely that both parents passed on wolf DNA on each side. See, there's no wolf DNA in chromosome 37. And take what I'm saying here with a grain of salt. I'm not a genetics expert. I'm probably incorrect technically about a lot of things, but I do know it's fairly simple to see. You go by the color you see, and I do know that you inherit from each parent on each chromosome. There's pairs, base pairs, and a dog has 36 and a wolf has 36. See chromosome 15, no wolf DNA. There is Malamute. Most of the wolf DNA seems to be with Husky and Malamute, which is common. Here's chromosome 7. It's mostly Husky and Malamute with a touch of Grey Wolf. Huck's mitochondrial DNA, that's the permanent female line. We can trace his mother's ancestry back to where dogs and people first became friends. This maps help you visualize the routes that his ancestors took to your home. And here's his paternal haplotype. It's just like people, you inherit the complete maternal haplotype from your mother. Relative finders unavailable if you have undomesticated canine mixed with your domestic canine. And that's pretty much how you put it. He's a quarter undomesticated or wild animal. Oh, a husky or a malamute can have wolf traits or a woofiness. All this is locked. I'd have to pay more for that. They used to show a woofiness score, which is basically like maybe they don't do that anymore. On average, these wolves will eat 20 to 30 pounds at a time, but they can also go about 2 weeks without eating. Despite being sometimes called the Alsatian wolf dog, German Shepherds are not true wolf dogs. They are 100% dog. Nevertheless, German Shepherds were crossed with wolves in the past to form Czechoslovakian and Sarluz wolf dog breeds. German Shepherds, along with other breeds and sled dogs, were also used in the creation of the Chinook breed. Now, the Carolina dog is a very interesting dog, and that's what Old Yeller is. That's also an indigenous dog. Now, Hawk's mother. This female lineage was very likely one of the original lineages in wolves that were first domesticated in dogs in Central Asia 15,000 years ago. Since then, the lineage has been very successful and traveled the globe. Dogs from this group are found in ancient Bronze Age fossils in the Middle East and southern Europe. By the end of the Bronze Age, it became exceedingly common in Europe. These dogs later became many of the dogs that started some of the day's most popular breeds, like German Shepherds, Pugs, Whippets, English Sheepdogs, and miniature Schnauzers. During the period of European colonization, the lineage became even more widespread as European dogs followed their owners to far flung places like South America and Oceania. It is now found in many popular breeds as well as village dogs. Village dogs are also an indigenous uh, dog breed. And that's what's interesting because this is basically saying what I stated. Oh, here we go. Woofiness 15.1%. Now, that's not to be confused with this gray wolf DNA. This is a this score right here is an objective score, like I mean a subjective score. Like it's like superficial traits. Like okay, so when you go to Una, who establishes not a wolf dog, she's just a dog. We go to Una, she's just a dog. Okay, her wolfiness is 3.4%, and that's high. But what does it mean? Most dogs have a wolfiness score of 1%. So most dogs have a little bit of residual wolf DNA. We find population in breeds with higher scores of 2 to 4% occasionally, and unique, that means very rare, dogs with scores of 5% or above. If your dog has, look, wolfiness scores of 10% are almost always due up to up that's a big wolfiness scores up to 10% are always almost always due to ancient wolf genes. That means when wolves and dogs were barely, we could barely tell the difference, rather than any recent wolf ancestor. These ancient genes may be a few thousand years old. The science, it's not really a science. It's sort of a novelty. So I guess you could call it pseudoscience in this case. Your dog's wolfiness score is based on hundreds of markers across the genome, where dogs, or almost all of them, are the same. But wolves tend to be different. These markers are thought to be related to domestication gene swaps, where early dogs were selected for some trait. Scientists have known about domestication gene sweeps for years, but do not yet know why each sweep occurred. By finding rare dogs carrying an ancient variant at a certain marker, we can make associations with behavior, size, metabolism, and developments that likely cause these unique signatures of dogginess in the genome. But see, that's kind of the thing, that dogs and wolves are the same. They share 99.9% of the DNA. It's how it's arranged and expressed. It's the major difference. And it would be the same, honestly, and I'm going out on a limb here, but if you tested ancient humans during the Paleolithic and compared them to humans now, we're going to be pretty much the same with the same genes, but how it's expressed and how it's organized and the subtle differences is what's going to make the huge overall difference. So to say this coat pattern, yes, some coat patterns are indicative of wolves. So wolves have certain coat patterns. But as this states and as most research states, wolves and dogs have interbred over time and share the same common ancestor. The same with coyotes. Wolves and coyotes have mixed many times. And as a somebody that's tan coyote hides, I can tell you the coyotes can get quite large. And when we do research, we find that out of harvested coyotes, they do contain gray wolf DNA, and vice versa. Gray wolves contain coyote DNA, as well as there's some colors in dogs, excuse me, in wolves, that certain color patterns that wolves got from dogs from crossbreeding. And that's the thing, they're not hybrids, they're subspecies. So they're in the same genus. They have the same amount of chromosomes. They can easily interbreed. The only thing is size. As we all know, smaller canines and bigger canines can interbreed. Now, can a fox and a wolf interbreed? Probably not. Possibly. It's possible you could engineer that. But just like the wolfiness score, it's all just indicative of something else, that wolves and dogs had a common ancestor. And that's the thing that's the catch 22 of wolf dogs in your home. They can be, especially the higher percentage you have. Anything over 30% in my opinion is going to be very hard to handle. 20% is hard to handle. My wolf dog's good around my kids, but other people's kids, I keep them away from them. And you're going to need a huge fence. You're going to need an electric fence. And these videos you see of wolf dogs sitting on tables, that's insane. Letting them be the alpha inside your home, inside your environment, that's waiting for an accident. They're not telling you the times they've been snipped, or their ankles have been grabbed, or when their hands were bit, when they were training. It's not the same as a dog. That's one of the major differences, as we went over before, is behavior. Behavior, tooth size, cranium size, intelligence, self-awareness. These are the differences between a wolf and a dog. A dog traded many of those traits for dependency on humans. That's the bottom line. I hope to do more. I don't know, depending on how these videos go, how much this is looked at, what the interest is. I'll really get into the research, and I'll learn the uh, everything on my own, to where I've got really clear scientific uh, background on this, and I'll try to do more videos, and that depends on the interest. So if you like this sort of thing, if you want to hear me ramble on between the differences between wolves and dogs, and how they're not hybrids, and how most people basically are lying about wolf dogs, that it's most people are definitely lying. But you can tell when a dog has wolf admixture. You can definitely tell. Well, thanks for listening to my rambling, and hopefully you'll be there for next time. If there is a next time, like and subscribe.